I mean, there are many different reasons, but a lot of times you come to the community college level because you want to get an education. You really want it. And it's just really sad that even though you can get in, if you can get in, you can't afford the tools you need to have a successful class. And you as teachers are limited in how successful you are in teaching the students because they can't afford the tools that you need.
Yeah.
So.
Okay, well, I had to pay about $500 for my books one quarter because I was taking a lot of units and they were in classes that were science. I was taking science, math, and everything, and I ended up paying probably about like $500 for my books. And my dad thought it wasn't for books because it was so expensive, and I had a book that was $150 by itself, and it was my bio book. So I've had really bad experiences with books costing too much.
Okay. So like before we go further, I'm sorry. No, I'll just keep in mind.
I wasn't quite sure where you would go with it.
I'll ask follow-up questions.
I've had to pay that much also. I've had to pay like $400 just for textbooks. And this semester I ended up buying on Amazon, which costed me probably half the price. But textbook costs are absolutely ridiculous. I mean, my parents don't even believe how bad it is either. They think I'm just lying about it, but no, it's actually a reality.
I haven't had to pay $500 for my books yet, but this semester I paid upwards of $200 for 3 textbooks. And even though I used tricks like using Google Shopping to find the best cheap online source, I still end up paying a lot. And it's only going to get more expensive as I start doing more science-based courses because I'm a bio major. And it's not really an option for me to, say, rent or buy back my books because I use my books heavily. I annotate, I dog ear. Those books become mine. And unfortunately, you can't sell those back and recoup the cost on it. And I believe many students are in the same situation.
So the books that you buy, like, how much do you use your books, these expensive books? Like, in reality, like, how much are they being used in the class?
I've learned not to, I don't know, I feel like I've learned not to really pay attention to buying some textbooks because some teachers don't even enforce it or doing the reading. And a lot of times they lecture from the textbook, so it's almost like, what's the point of having that really expensive textbook when they're just going to lecture on it? So yeah, sometimes I don't even use a textbook, and a lot of times I've dropped classes too, and I wasn't able to return the textbook. So
Now that I rent mine, it's really tough because I have to be a huge fan of Post-it notes because I can't. Now after that experience, I always rent my books. Like, I've switched from Chegg to Book Renter to just everywhere where I can find like the lowest price now because it's gotten ridiculous. And plus they plant a tree, which was cool. So the only drawback is like I have to do tons, but I have like a whole book and just Post-its probably afterwards. So it's an inconvenience. So I wish I would buy books if like I had the money to do it, but my dad will not pay for books anymore after that one time. He said they're too expensive now.
I tend to use my textbooks heavily, and it's kind of hard to gauge whether or not a teacher is actually going to use their textbook, because sometimes they change their mind halfway through the semester, or you end up getting the book in the first day class, they're like, I'm not using a book, I changed my mind, that kind of thing. It ends up putting you in the hole a little bit more. Wait, what was my question?
Just how much do you use these books you're paying $500 for?
I had a thought and it just disappeared. Oh my god, that's so embarrassing. But I use my textbooks very thoroughly, and it's nice to have one.
Because you need to look something up.
You need to look
I'm always like,
reference.
I'm studying for finals, and I'm just like, I'm looking over the study guides, and like, I take awesome notes. Like, I'm so crazy about my note taking. They're color coded, like they're good to go. But there's still something you miss, and you're just like, well, I need to look up this term and stuff. And you can always like Google it or something, but it's so
it's good to have the
easier.
supplementary.
You're like, but I want to make sure it's right. You're like, I want to double check this in the book.
And especially if it's for your major, sometimes I want to keep the textbook, but it's like you paid tons of money for your textbook, and you want to have it as a reference book, but you almost want to sell it back at the same time because you want that money back too. So
I mean, last semester I ended up paying out of pocket for about half of my books. My mom was like, I can't do that right now. And I'm like, well, I need them right now, so that comes out of my pocket.
Do you think it's a hindrance in the education, by the way? Like, do you two think? I think it is.
I know so many people who are just like, I don't get my textbook, and their grades and how they understand the material kind of reflects that. Like some people I know will procrastinate on their essays, the reading. I'm like, did you do the reading? No, I don't have a textbook yet. It's halfway through the semester, man. Come on.
Right?
Yeah, I know a lot of people who do that, who don't end up getting a textbook until halfway through the semester.
My boyfriend can't even take, he's supposed to take because he has already done most of his stuff and he wants to transfer, but the problem is he's like, if I can't afford textbooks at this level, he's like, how am I ever going to go to a 4-year? Like, he was just like, it's unimaginable at this point.
Professors read their own books at that point too, and those become more expensive because they have to self-produce it.
That's what he was saying, and so he said, he was like, I just need to he's taking time off and just working to save up money just for textbooks. And I just don't think that's fair. Like, I don't know, education is very important. So.
What could faculty do to help you in this situation?
I feel like faculty could find other resources, like online resources. I have a political science teacher who taught at SF State, and he told us the story the very first day of class. He says, I don't believe in textbooks because I've had students have to choose whether to pay for their health insurance or textbooks. And it was staggering, and he decided, he was like, I'm not going to use any more textbooks. So I have an online page, and all the readings are just online, and you can print them out and everything. It's really nice.
In addition, there are also open source sources where you can aggregate the knowledge of many very knowledgeable people in order to create a free service for students to take advantage of.
Yeah, it's definitely helpful doing things like that, or how at DAN's all of the environmental studies, environmental science courses, anything that's held in the Kirsch building. It's a LEED Platinum certified building that we have. Anything held there that has an environmental, emphasis on it, they all have these student packets. And it's kind of funny, the bookstore sells them, but they're like dirt cheap, and they have everything in them that you need. So, but they also ask you to buy the textbook, but everyone's like, not a chance. I'm buying the packet. So we all just buy the packet, and then you can rent the textbook, actually in the building itself. Like, they have them available, a ton of them, just in the building itself. So it'd be nice if you could even just check out a textbook from even just a teacher, or that sounds so hard to do, but even if there's 5, it's helpful to be able to check
They
it out.
do that at my school. You can check out a book for about 2 hours, but they have so few of them up in the library.
That's what I was saying, the library, there's not enough.
We have one textbook. I think the teachers can put out one textbook, and you can rent it out for 2 hours in the library.
The story is always, you go up there, can I borrow this book? Oh, I'm sorry, I just gave the last one out to somebody, and they have it for 2 hours.
The best one is that they just checked it out. It's Friday and we're closing, so they get it for the weekend. You're just like, I have a midterm, and your grades suffer. First of all, the textbooks cost you more money, and then second of all, it costs you more money to retake the class because you messed up, because you couldn't have the textbook. So it's it's a catch-22.
And you also have that grade stuck on your permanent record for a while.
Ugh.
Yeah.
For a while, permanently.
I know.
Yeah.
Permanent. Unless you want to spend more money completely, or if you retake it, doesn't it replace it?
I'm not
No,
sure how it
it
works.
doesn't
I think
replace it.
it's
I've
on the
never
grade.
had that,
It
unfortunately.
stays on your transcript. It just doesn't get counted into your GPA. Yeah.
What about you, man? How does it feel when you're in class and half your students that second week of the semester don't have the book?
Second week, fourth week, they still don't have it. And a lot of it is due to those things. They're waiting for a book voucher, let's say, or they just don't have the money but not the courage to ask. So I tell a lot of my students who are in that situation, just send me an email, I'll buy the book for you, and you can pay me back throughout the semester whenever you get a chance. But that's not the solution I'd like to have, but temporarily, that gets the job done. I don't have an overwhelming number of students taking me up on that offer, maybe 4 or 5, so I can still manage it that way.